Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Ethan, and welcome to today's video for Legends of Runeterra. Today, what are we gonna do today? We only got, I think, like 5 or so cards to look at today, but we have a new mechanic. Not a new keyword, but it's just a mechanic. Looks like we got the, we're gonna get Illaoi. A lot of these cards are hinting at Illaoi. They're just talking about like Naga Koboros and tentacles, and that's kind of just what Illaoi does if you don't know the League of Legends lore. So pretty much all but confirmed we're getting Illaoi. We're probably gonna see Illaoi by tomorrow. And of course I'll do a video on that as well. But first things first, before we actually look at the cards, let's talk about the new mechanic called Spawn. So what is Spawn, you might say? Gonna really quickly say this before we actually read out what it does. The wording is really bad. Riot themselves have said, like, yeah, it is kind of bad wording and we'll reword it and fix it a little bit and make it more clear, but I'll explain how it works. So Spawn says, summon a 1/1 tentacle. If you already have one, give it +1/+1 for each spawn. So that should say grant, of course. But here, we'll give a good, this is a good example. Uru Lookout is a 5 mana 4/3 when I'm summoned spawn 3. So if you have a tentacle, if you have no tentacles on the board, just an empty board, nothing on it, and you summon Buru Lookout, you'll get the Lookout, so you get the 5 mana 4/3. And then she will spawn 3. You will get a 3/3 tentacle. You will not get like 3 1/1s or a 1/1, a 2/2, and a 3/3, which is what some people were thinking would happen. You're just going to get one really sizable tentacle, a 3/3. If you already have a tentacle, let's say you have a 1/1 tentacle and you play Buru Lookout. The Buru Lookout will come down 5 mana 4/3. She will see that you have a 1/1 tentacle, so she won't summon a new tentacle, but will put basically 3 +1/+1 counters on the 1/1 tentacle you already have, and you'll now have a 4/4 tentacle. For people who have played Magic, you might be able to make the connection. This is basically just a mass from Magic, and it plays in a very similar way. So it seems like Illaoi is going to be doing with something with tentacles and spawning, which, you know, it's kind of obvious that Illaoi was going to have something to do with tentacles because that's kind of just what she does. I like the mechanic. I like spawn. I like these kind of cards that just summon an extra unit or give you more than one unit for its cost. You know, things like House Spider, Island Navigator, Mirai Warden, stuff like this. So I look at this card like a House Spider, basically. And of course, how good are these spawn cards? How good are these tentacle cards? I feel like some of them are good by themselves, but a lot of it is going to come down to the payoff. What's the payoff for tentacles? And how good is Illaoi? How much does Illaoi care about tentacles, etc., etc.? Kind of like how Blade Dance was with Aurelia. When Blade Dance first came out, we hadn't seen Aurelia yet. A lot of us were like, yeah, Blade Dance seems pretty solid, pretty good with some like other cards, like some Shurima cards, but it needs like a little bit more. And then we saw Aurelia, and we're like, wow, Blade Dance is really strong, and then they eventually nerfed Azir Aurelia. And that's what I feel like Spawn is going to be. I think we need to see what Illaoi does and what other kind of synergy they have with tentacles. Anyway, though, let's go and look at the other cards that were revealed today. So, what do we have? Let's start down here. So like I said, 5 new cards. We got the tentacle, 4 cards here, and 1 card here. So yeah, that's 5 cards. Got these cards here before that were revealed yesterday. If you want to see those, you can look at the previous video that's on the channel already. But let's just start with this card, the slow spell. Answered Prayer. Answered Prayer is a 2 mana slow spell. Spawn 2, or you can spend more mana, spend 5 mana instead, to spawn 4. I like this card. Both options are not mana efficient, I will say that. Also, it is a spell, so it can be interacted with spell counter spells, so, you know, notify, counter, deny, etc., etc. But then on the plus side, you get spell synergy, so Eye of the Dragon and stuff. I don't know. 2 mana for a 2/2... 2 mana for 2/2 of stats is not great, and then for the bigger option, 5 mana for 4/4 of stats is also not that great. So Yeah, I'm not really interested in playing this card. Like, I really don't like this card. Like, sure, it's a good mana sink in the late games. 5 mana for 4/4 of stats. But really, just it's so overcosted. And I understand why. I get it. I get it. It's costing a lot and the stats are a little low for the cost, or you're paying extra. You're paying more mana. You're paying a lot of mana for bad stats, is what I'm saying. That's the best way to put it, I guess. And the reason for that, I think, is because it's tentacles. Tentacles have synergy with other things, so you're playing this card because you really want the tentacles, and you really need to get the tentacles going early. Like, this is the card I feel like you want in your deck if you're a Illaoi tentacle deck, spawn deck, whatever you want to call it, and you just want to get the tentacle going. You want to get that one tentacle growing right away. It lets you get on the board too, so I like it. It's fine, but a 2-mana 2/2 is not fighting that well on turn 2. Not blocking fearsomes, etc., etc. So, who knows? Still, though, I feel like it's gonna just come. Overall, I just feel like this card comes down to tentacle synergy and spawn synergy. But I like that it is flexible. I do like that there is a. I like that it's not just a spawn 2 for 2. That would have been boring, and the fact that you can pay 5 to spawn 4, I think might make it slightly playable. Especially if Illaoi is really, really good and you really want lots of spawn. So what do we have next? Of course, we have the tentacle. I won't talk too much about this. Like, there's nothing much to talk about with a tentacle. Beautiful art, by the way, but just a 1-mana 1/1. Nothing crazy about it. No, like, tribe. It's not like in Fey or anything, or Yordle or whatever. No keyword as well, so no ephemeral. So yeah, whatever. Now, Buru Leader. 3 mana 3/2. Play this guy. A 1-cost ally starts a free attack. Interesting. My first question is, if you have 2 1-cost allies, do you get to choose who gets to attack? If it's random, that kind of sucks, but whatever. If you get to choose, that's great. Now, the obvious synergy is the Tentacle, right? The Tentacle is a 1-mana card, a 1-mana ally, 1-mana unit, whatever you want to call it. So use Buru Leader and you get a free Tentacle attack in. Cool. What about outside of Tentacles? What about outside of spawn decks? How's this guy looking? Well, Teemo, Fizz, and Zoe. All are 1-drop units and all are pretty nice to have attacks. Like Teemo and Zoe getting more Nexus Strikes is great. Fizz can get elusive too. Fizz getting a free Nexus Strike's not as great. But I still like this card. And then you can, like, I guess you could also, in theory, buff Fizz with Papercraft, because Fizz is technically both a Bandle City and a Bilgewater card, multi-region card. So you could be a Bandle City, Bilgewater, Fizz, Papercraft deck and use Buru Leader to get free attacks with a Papercraft Fizz. That seems actually kind of cute and cool. Is that good? I don't think it's good. You kind of want to have a way to give Overwhelm to Fizz with Papercraft, but like Fizz Papercraft, but whatever. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of this card and like how to play it outside the obvious way, because it is fine. Like, it's a 3-mana 3/2, which sure, it's understated, but it's a rally on a stick. Sure, you can't really target anything. You can only use 1-mana units, but it's still a rally on or not a rally, sorry, a Cataclysm. That's the card I'm thinking of. Is it even a Cataclysm? Actually, no, it's not a Cataclysm. It's a Ruined Reckoner? Is that even the card I'm thinking of? The 4-mana 4/3. Because I was gonna say Cataclysm, but I forgot. Cataclysm, you get to target something like you get to start a free attack fighting something. This doesn't fight anything. This just starts a free attack. So, I don't know, like, there is a way to give Tentacles Overwhelm, and that's cute too. Like, we've seen it already from Faded and Pantheon decks. Zenith Blade on a Faded unit using Cataclysm to swing in and push in some more Faded damage is a very good win con for them and just really annoying. So, I think this card might see some play too, depending on just, again, how good Spawn and Tentacles are and just how much you want to attack in with that one big Tentacle. And then your opponent plays Hush on the Tentacle and you cry, of course. So yeah, I like Buru Leader. Kind of hard to evaluate a lot of these cards, really, because it feels like we only have half of the spawn pool, but it's still really nice and really fun to try and evaluate these cards. Next up, what do we got? I like this next card. I really like this card. First off, I like the art. You got that big spooky sea monster in the back. It's the Terror of the Tides, I think is the name. Terror of the Depths, whatever. Watchful Idol. 1 mana, 0/5, immobile. Round start, deal 2 to me and spawn 1. So it's a monkey idol, but instead of summoning powder monkeys, it's summoning tentacles. Also, it's 1 mana. Like, this is what I think this card is great. Or not, I won't say OP, but I think this card is strong. It does a lot, I feel, for the spawn deck. It gets you on the board early. It gets the tentacle growing fairly quickly. If you can heal the idol too, that's kind of cute. So you can, you know, give it regen with something like Udyr. And why is there an ambulance outside? Please keep going away. Cool. I don't even know if that came through on the mic. Anyway, but like I was saying though, giving this thing like regen's cute. Sure, it's slow, but you know, like some people have thought about like, oh, giving regen to monkey idol is also cute. And unlike the powder monkeys, the tentacle is not ephemeral, so it's going to stick around. I don't know. I like this card. We don't really have a card like this in the game as well. We don't really have this 1 mana backline generator, I guess is a good way to describe it. Like not a value generator, but like I guess a unit generator maybe. But yeah, and it's so cheap. Like that's the thing. It's so cheap. It's 3 tentacles, 3 spawn ones, barring any kind of like interaction, of course, barring you healing it, barring your opponent pinging it or anything. And that's pretty solid, I think, to help get you the tentacle out there early. It lets you get your tentacle synergy going, building the tentacle and growing it bigger and bigger. So I really like this card. I think this is a 1 of, or not 1 of, a 3 of in any spawn deck. Of course, again, like I keep saying with all these spawn cards, it depends on just how strong the payoff is. But I really like it. Next up, we got Buru Lookout. We already talked about this card a little bit, so we won't talk about it too much. 5 mana, 4/3 when I'm summoned, spawn 3. Again, not much to talk about here. Kind of simple and easy to understand card. So, stat-wise alone, it's 5 mana for 7/6 of stats. That's pretty big. Like, that's a lot of stats for the cost. Now, here's the thing. At a certain mana point, good stats for the cost is not enough anymore. And the game is fast enough that good stats for the cost isn't really not a good enough thing anymore. But still, don't underestimate, I'd say, good stats for the cost. Is this good enough? First off, it is getting split between 2 bodies. 4/3 for 5, and then the 3/3 tentacle. And it is a tentacle, so it is going on a tentacle if you already have it. Still though, that's a lot of stats. I know I keep saying this, but that's so many stats for 5 mana. And if you don't have a tentacle, it's kind of like a mid-game house spider, but larger. You get a 5 mana 4/3 and a 3/3 as well. And anyone who's played House Spider and like Marine Warden and such know the value of getting 2 bodies for 1 priority action. Camavoran Soldier also is a good example of that as well. Worked great offensively and defensively. So I like this card. Not sure how many I would play in a deck though, but I like it. It helps grow a fairly sizable tentacle quickly. So yeah, I like it. Don't know how many I would play in a spawn deck. Again, like I keep saying, definitely need to see more payoff for tentacles and spawning. So I don't know. I like it though. And our next card, our last card for the day, the Sea's Voice. 3 mana 3/3. Attack. Spawn 1, give your strongest tentacle, overwhelm this round. Because of the way this card was worded, it says give your strongest tentacle, overwhelm this round. A lot of people thought you would be able, spawn would work differently and not just stack the stats on the 1 tentacle. And then Riot confirmed, no, it works the way I explained. I assume it just is worded like this in case of cloning. Like, there are ways you could play like just clones in general, like or just I don't know, an hourglass, or you could even just bounce a tentacle back to your hand, play a spawn, and then play the tentacle in your hand. So I feel like it's just saying that because of fringe scenarios like that. Or another theory I've got is maybe Illaoi will let you break the rule and let you have more than just one tentacle. Maybe when she says, like, maybe Illaoi will be like, when you spawn, create another tentacle or something. I don't know. Like, I'm not a game designer. Anyway, about this card itself. C's voice. 3 mana 3/3. We already read this. Why am I reading it again? But yeah. So, how good is this card? She's gonna die. Like, that's the thing. By the time she attacks, when she does her attack, she's dying in combat. 3/3 for 3 is not terrible, but for something that wants to attack, she is not living. 3/3 for 3 trades with 2 drops. She's not living. I'm sorry. And in fact, she might even be having a hard time swinging into 3 mana cards like Ziggs, who's a 3/4. So is the card good? I don't know. Here's the problem I have with the C's voice. It's only a temporary buff. If that overwhelm was permanent, I'd be much more all in on this card. I'd be like, wow, this card's great. You C's voice, you sack her into combat against like a 2 mana 3/2 or whatever, but now your tentacle has overwhelm. The problem is that overwhelm's only temporary for the round. So is she supposed to be used like a finisher? You build a big tentacle, you play C's voice, hope your opponent can't stun or kill her, swing in with C's voice and your really big tentacle? Is that the game plan here? Maybe. I don't know, but like, this is what I'm talking about though when I'm talking about like tentacle payoff. Like, I don't think this is great payoff, but I think it's okay. Like, maybe as a 1 or even a 2 of in your deck. Just as a cute finisher, but I don't think she's going to be able to swing in too often. But yeah, like, this is what I'm talking about though. Like, some kind of payoff for doing all this spawning and growing these tentacles. And for now, I think this is our only payoff, right? Like, C's voice to give overwhelm, and that's it. Like, none of the other cards are really, outside of just growing a tentacle, are doing anything with tentacles. Like, we're not getting, none of these tentacles give life or anything. Actually, now that I think about it, I could actually see that. Maybe we can get some life gain with tentacles. Illaoi kind of does that in some games. I think she does that in Ruin King, the RPG game. I can't remember what Illaoi does in League of Legends, in all honesty. But yeah, maybe we can get like, oh, your tentacle has lifesteal for the round, or your tentacle has spell shield for the round, or your tentacle's tough now, or something. I would love more cards like that, and I just want to see like what kind of fun, cool, cute stuff they do with tentacles. Like, I like the mechanic. I love growing this big unit and giving it kind of buffs, for temporary buffs. So I have high hopes for Spawn and Illaoi, but that's going to be it for today. Like I said, only 5 cards, so not much to talk about, but it's going to be a little bit of a longish video for 5 cards, because we had to talk about the new keyword, Spawn. I like it. I like the new cards. They all seem very interesting. Buru Lookout looks solid. Watchful Idol looks like there's a lot of potential there. 1 mana backline unit generation seems nice. Buru Leader looks like it might even be able to go outside of Spawn too. Answered Prayers is kind of mediocre, but depending on just how good Spawn is, you might play just because you want more tentacles. So, I don't know. Looks like a fun new mechanic. Fairly simple, in all honesty. At least at a glance, it's fairly simple, but who knows? Who knows what Illaoi does, and who knows what other cards we will get that care about Spawn and care about tentacles. So, like I said, that's going to be it. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I would love to hear your opinion on Spawn and these cards as well. Do you think Spawn is kind of boring? Do you think it's interesting? Do you think some of these cards aren't too exciting and just feel a little weak? Maybe you disagree with me. Maybe you think Watchful Idol is not that good. Maybe you think it's just bad. I'd love to hear your opinion down in the comments below. And if you guys just enjoyed the video in general, I'd love it if you could leave a like or a comment down below. Always helps me and the channel out. And if you guys want to keep up with the Legends of Runeterra content, you can always go and subscribe to the channel as well. Also, if you want to watch me play some Legends of Runeterra, you can go and check me out over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Senaton, where I stream pretty much every single day. Anyway, though, with that all said and done, thank you all once more for watching this video, And until I see you guys in the next one, bye.